live. We're going to go live now. Okay. Check out, see how I'm sounding on Twitch. Let's see if Twitch is working. Sounding on Twitch. Sounds great. Okay. All right. I want to grab something that's important. Reposition something here. Which is basically my mic. And we'll get rocking and rolling. You'll probably see me on the edge of the camera. All right. My mic accidentally toppled down here. Everything I think is back in place. There we go. All right. Well, good morning, David. Okay, David Glenn, I'm going to put the link to join in live right now. Give me a hot second. Join in live. Okay, there we go. So I just given everybody the link to come on and join on live if you want to share something. So David, come on and jump on in. You can be my there. You okay? Well, your remember your microphone's got to be connected. Everything's got to be connected before you jump in. So I see you, but it says device not connected, and it's referring to your microphone. So make sure that is good to go. Welcome, 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 everybody. We are back for another weekly broadcast. All right, everybody's slow getting here this morning. Okay, David, I see you. I'm gonna add you to the stream now. There you are. How you doing?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, StreamYard likes that microphone connected before you log on.
Oh, it likes a lot of things connected. It won't recognize my webcam. Whenever I turn it on, and it says, "Oh, I'm not connected."
Okay, let me ask you this: what type of webcam do you have? What brand name?
I don't have a brand name. It's one that I've created.
Okay, then that's what the problem is. You need to purchase like a Logitech webcam, a USB webcam. That works.
It is a USB webcam. That I'm sure about, but no, it's what they call a ESP ESP32 cam.
Cam, an ESP32. Let me kind of look it up here real quick, out of curiosity. ESP32 webcam.
Yeah, ESP refers to the CPU that it's hooked up to, and it's.
I see it, but I have no idea what this is.
It's embedded engineering, in a sense.
Yeah,
obvious.
Just Amazon. Go to Amazon and get a webcam. Just get a USB webcam and be done with it. Then it'll work perfectly, flawlessly.
It works great with Discord. I have no trouble talking to my, showing up for my friend on Discord.
Yeah, I don't know, but
StreamYard's the only thing that it doesn't like.
Okay.
So
I think StreamYard likes that traditional or something that's familiar.
Well, it's the algorithm that I got from I think it was DR Robot,
right?
That I use. It has all the traditional hookups and stuff for it. So it just I wish you could see it here. It hooks up. I have an extra one here. It has a USB-C connector to it, and you can hook it up to your computer. It should work. This is the only one that it doesn't, and I'm scratching my head over it. I guess I'm gonna have to get SteamYard at some point. I am thinking about putting in some sort of thing in the future,
Right.
possibly because you were asking me the other day, last week, about YouTube and putting videos on YouTube. And I thought about doing a deal where I explain to people how to use, how to use the YouTube editor, the video editor built in YouTube, and all the benefits that you have in YouTube at your disposal. There is quite a big wealth of things to do that. But
yeah, that will be kind of good, especially as we do these streaming videos for weekly broadcasts. I
yeah,
think that will be very relevant.
yeah, and I like to do it though. In the spirit of this particular broadcast, I probably want to do it on a separate thing, probably on my own. And you could and people could chime in because there's a lot of cool things there.
Blender does video editing.
Yeah.
So,
well, case in point, Alphabet gives you a list of free music, free chunks of music samples.
Okay.
That you can use on YouTube,
right?
Royalty free.
Okay.
And they're not slouches about it. There's some really good stuff there, and they're very. You might have heard of some of the tunes and some of these if you ever do a lot of YouTubing like I do.
Right.
And I tend to go for that resource because it's approved for YouTube. It's free.
Yeah.
And there's about a mood for anything that you want to put in your video is in terms of what background music you want to include in a video.
Okay. So I want to give a shout out to Buster X66. Welcome. Everybody's slowly coming in. Most everybody doesn't start jumping into 30 minutes after the broadcast. So
yeah,
it's like religiously. It's like, gosh, I didn't think 10 o'clock was that early.
Yeah, it's Saturday though. Saturday everybody wants to sleep in because
hey, great to have you here. So here I'm going to put in the chat box the link to this broadcast, and if for all those who are watching us on Twitch, share this on social media now. Share our broadcast, and if you are connected to the LightWave forums at all, definitely share this on there now onto the LightWave forum. All right, so Nightwolf Prime, welcome. Great to see you. He says he owns his own platform. Great. Hey, well, there it is. I put the link to join on to our channel, our presentation this morning now on Nightwolf. So go ahead and share that with your platform. Get everybody to come on in. Let everybody know we're here. Yeah, Twitch is kind of weird because it's showing me a lot less people on through the let's see, what is this here? This is under community. Yeah, it's showing more people. Everything's all disjointed here. It says I have so many people, but then it's a lot more than I would actually have. Because when you go to the stream chat community, I'll see different people than what I would see over in the numbers in the bottom. It shows you how many people here at the bottom of the screen. It says 2. Well, there's more than 2 here. It's a bunch more.
Well, let me ask this: does any of your viewers log in from Discord?
Well, I don't know. I have no idea if they are or not.
Because that's how I talked to my friend in, that's how I talked to my friend back east. He's in Atlanta. I'm out here in Washington, and we communicate with each other, in a personal, one-to-one level, on Discord. I don't know how
Right.
secure it is, but we don't say anything that is bad anyway, so or incriminating.
So everybody who's watching online, if you didn't know, we have an official Discord channel, and I'm gonna copy the link. It's the Blender 3D Discord, and it's huge. I mean, it's a lot of people
Oh
on.
yeah,
It's huge.
and
So
it's a great resource.
it's a really good resource now. I mean, I'll kind of go over this, but I'm going to go put this into the chat box. Um, called Flux Fusion. Flux Fusion. So Discord. Here we go. I'm gonna put Discord link. Oops. Discord, and then I will place the link in there now.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. All right. So if you have not joined us on Discord, definitely join in now. It's all free. It's a huge, like David says, it's a huge resource.
I found some of my plugins on there that are great.
Oh yeah, I mean it's fantastic. I mean here we got the general chat area at the very top. All right, so you can ask questions, chat with people. You can look at all the stuff. I mean, some great stuff. I've got other Blender groups that are actually posting in this section. This Blender Discord, the official Blender Discord, has been posting quite a bit in our section here, and they're setting up with some links to kind of watch their educational tutorials. But there's a lot in here. I'll usually chat in here, like join in live for our next meeting. Actually, I've got to do that right now. Just as a quick little thing here, I will go over to my page. Let me go to my proper page here, and I will copy. There we go. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to copy this today. Got it. All right, copy that, and then I'll come over to general. Click that there. What happened to my little box here? It was kind of like thrown off the screen. There we go, right there. All right, go ahead and place that in there. Come join us live, and there it is. Okay, so we've got announcements. I usually set that up for other groups to actually come in here and post their invitations. Shortcuts. I got the PDF file for the Blender 3D shortcuts. David Good sent me another one recently. I think it was a 4.3 shortcut PDF. I've yet to place it in here. I'll look for that while you do your presentation, David, and I'll paste that in there today.
I don't have much to show other than the progress that I made on my model.
Well, that's okay. That's
and I found out last night I made a real rookie mistake.
Oh,
and that's a particularly juicy for you because I'm making mistakes, so everybody else there doesn't.
Oh, yes, they do.
And this one I found out last night. I kind of went, ooh,
Yeah.
Why did I do that? And it realized it has to do with something that is very fundamental in modeling in general, and that is global and local.
Yeah, that's right. Global and local. That's something
every time.
I mean, but that's standard in any 3D program, right? Global and local. It's standard in LightWave. It's a Maya. Is any 3D program. There's global and local. There's the global coordinates, which never move. They're always they're always in one location, and that's the central point to the entire scene. And then you've got your local, which is local to each individual object. So every individual object has its local orientation based on the location of its orientation.
Yeah.
Right.
So, any of you have followed me before, you know that I've been working on procedural shaders,
Right.
and all the lessons that I've reamed from, mostly from Facebook.
Right.
They've always wrapped the shader. The shader needs an anchor to hang on to
Right.
in order to remain static or know where it's at
Right.
in the relation to things. And they always go to object. And the realize, and you go to object, it picks up on whatever orientation the object that you're attaching this shader
Right.
to. And it turns out that all the objects that make up this character that I've been working on, for some reason, is globally set.
Okay.
I don't know how it got that way, other than the only thing I can possibly think of right now, because I kind of have to ferret this down, because I'm probably going to have to localize all the elements again, but
Okay.
or seek some other methodology to anchor that to the shader to the object.
And I'm gonna share your screen in just a minute. Let
Okay.
me let me finish this. Well, I just want to kind of finish sharing very quickly what we have on Discord, uh,
Okay.
and
I'll
then
stand back.
I'm going to share your screen and let you take off here. All right. So
I gotta listen to stuff anyway.
the just for the yeah for, just to reiterate again, for those who are not part of Discord, I put the link in the chat box to join on. If you homework submission, you notice that I teach. I'm the lead Blender instructor for Studio Art, so a lot of my students, I have them post their homework here, so you actually get to see what they've been doing in the class. It's pretty amazing stuff. Um, if you got special videos, those are special videos that I record. If students have questions, I'll record a video, and or I will post a video that I found somewhere else I think is very helpful for everybody. So just definitely check that out. Blender plugins. Plugins I think are well worth your time to install in Blender. They're all listed here with the links to those plugins, right? We've got a whole bunch of them. Maybe we got Fab's got a plugin. Remember the Fab from the Unreal Engine assets? It's now called Fab. That is that you got a plugin for Blender for that to access your Fab accounts, right?
Yeah,
We've
that's
got
very important
Edge
now.
Edge Flow. Edge Flow is a good one. I've got to download that myself. But that's a very, very, very handy. It's where it allows you to select your edges and realign them according to the flow of your model, the flow of your other edges. That's really handy. Let's like it hot. I think this is like an intensity, probably a shader. But anyways, come and take a look at this. A synchronized viewport. That's really handy. You know how often if in Blender you go to one viewport to another, like from modeling mode to layout mode, and then your viewport orientation is always different, depending on where you left off in that particular viewport. This synchronizes everything. So how you set up one viewport automatically sets up all the others. So if you're working in your camera view in one viewport and you jump to another viewport, it automatically matches that view you already been working in. So that's kind of handy. So come and check a lot of this out. That's under the Blender plugins. Posting your demo reel. We want to see what you're doing as an artist. So post your demo reels here. And if you scroll through here, you get to see where a lot of my students have shared their demo reels and or their websites, and they're pretty damn good. So these are all the people in this this Blender Discord. They are professionals. They are real life, 10-year or more veterans in the industry. They're the real deal. So this is really, really educational site here, and I'm very proud of it right now. We got Matt Westfall. He's an animator. I think he's worked for a lot of different companies, including Disney. Um, but yeah, all these people in here are basically the real deal in the industry. All right, so animation or modeling or texturing and all that stuff. You'll probably see stuff for my various classes, like my Blender 201. We've got, what is this one here? Blender Studio. Yeah, this is my 201 homework, right? So I've got various class styles: 201, class 101, Blender 101. I have a Blender Brilliance class. I got a link for that. That's the personal class. That's coming up in about a couple of weeks. So anybody interested in joining that class, let me know. In fact, I'll be happy to get the link for that. Grab that link real quick while I'm thinking about it. I'll find the link. I'll put it into the chat box in just a minute. There we go. It's coming up here, and I will go. There we go. Links. Okay, fantastic. So let me go to Blender Brilliance. I should be able to find it here. I think pretty quickly. I'm looking at it on another monitor here. In fact, here, I'll just kind of show everybody. I'll just show what I'm seeing here. I've got this nice little note here with all my links. There we go. Blender Brilliance. This has been moved away from the 26th. It's not starting this week. It's going to start in a couple of weeks. So I'll just take out that date, but let me place that here. So that's if you want to go more advanced. You already feel like you got the basics down in Blender. This is an advanced class. Okay, so 5 weeks. It's a 5-week class. We'll meet Sundays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., 10 a.m. in the morning to 12 p.m. in the afternoon, and then the rest of the day is to yourself, right? So we get together 5 weeks. Really, really, really fun class. Really good class. Welcome. More people are jumping in now. We got Essence. Welcome. There's a lot more, but I can't see all your names unless you actually chat in the chat box. Okay, so I've got a grease pencil class that we've been teaching. So you can go in there and check out what students are doing there. I do a Blender and Substance Painter class. That's a texturing class. That's coming up pretty soon. Let's see, Blender AI generators. Yeah, this is cool. I teach a Blender AI class with Studio Arts. It's very, very cool. And here are the links to some of the AI plugins that are made for Blender. All right, so check that one out. Well, this is the AI. Let's see, these are the AI generators. The AI plugins is right below Skybox. Skybox is pretty cool, but some of these things are pricey.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that, David, some of these AI engines now, they're getting pretentious, man. I mean,
oh, yeah.
oh,
A lot of them are starting to charge heavily.
they're charging heavily. It's like, oh, come on, guys. It's like,
well, you got in. You got in when it was free, and they needed you for, for all that data. And now they're starting to think, oh well, we could start to charge tiers for all this.
Yeah, I mean,
service, because to their defense, they've been very, very, very popular lately.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff I've seen right now has been made through AI, which is kind of expected in the initial wave of things.
Here's some of the homework assignments from the AI class where I had the students use AI to produce several different versions of an interior set.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know what I like what they're doing with the AI. It's just that the AI companies are now just, it's that greed thing. They just get freaking greedy. You don't need to charge $50 a month for an AI generation.
Oh gosh.
and
My
some of them
cable
are,
bill is cheaper.
and some of them are $300 a month. If you go to the video AI stuff, they're $300 a month.
Well, it's supply and demand. The demand for it is very high, and therefore they're going to. At first they were limiting it or putting a pay tier into it,
Right.
strictly to control the the people that were going into it, and throwing away. Hopefully all the twits would go away. But it was also to bring in revenue, which they badly need in some cases. A lot of these organizations started off as mom and pop shops,
Right.
not much different from you and me.
Well,
And
yeah, but I'm not against charging. I mean, I'm all for that, right? But make
yeah
it stupidly reasonable so that you can get a larger body of people behind what you're doing, which
yeah
makes you more popular. Like I like the where Buster X66 made a comment that there's so many AI sites out here right now. There's a lot of them. And
exactly
when I first started teaching the AI class for Blender, there were a few AI sites, but not a whole lot. Now there's a whole lot.
yeah
Now there's a whole lot, and after a while you start to decide to settle on. You find something that you like best. You're going to settle on it, and eventually just use it like crazy. You're not going to be searching around as much. Once you find what you like and what you want, the searching is kind of over, and now it's time to start to create.
Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
It has sort of relevance to it. Now I've heard that right now that there are plugins now for AI in Blender,
Yes, there is.
and you might. I think there's at least two that I've heard of.
Yeah,
And
I've got there's an AI 3D that I used. There's a few of them. I will actually, while you do your presentation, I'll take a look and see what I've got built into mine, and I can share that with you.
okay,
Or maybe we'll do an AI present. We can always do just a solely an AI presentation next week.
yeah.
In other words, AI for Blender. I think that'll be good. That'll be something I can promote. And
There's a couple of YouTubers or VTubers out there that have made comments on the thing, and they've expressed their concern, and they didn't really tell me too much about what
right.
they are and how they work.
I
Because
tell you what, let's do this um, just so that it gives me time to help promote. Why
yes,
don't we schedule next week as dedicate that to AI with Blender?
yes,
And then I can promote it, and then we can focus on it then, rather than just kind of throwing in there for today's presentation.
yeah.
We got something to look forward to. So just to finish this up, storyboarding for Blender, work in progress. I did a section for work in progress, so anybody want to post anything that they're working on. Alec Arnold has got something in there. And then Blender storyboarding stuff, right? So there's a lot of stuff in here there's something for everybody, I think, and it's huge. The community has really grown. So, all right. So what I'll do is I'm going to share your screen, David.
Okay.
I'm going to share that now, and I'm going to maximize the screen so that we're just focusing on your interface. And everybody, David Glenn, our wonderful presenter, David Glenn, take it away.
Okay. Like I say, last night I found out that I made on this. I've been working on for those who haven't been following me. I've been working on this really cool subject in Blender called procedural shaders, and in there I've made some reasonably cool shaders in there, mostly metallics and rubbers and stuff, because I got this character model that I'm playing with from a game that I'm in the planning stages to do, the referred to as my robotic nightmare, and the game. When you create assets for a game, there's a lot of things that you got to consider. How you build the model for the game, whether everything is properly positioned and stuff. It's far more intricate thing than if you were to create something internally within Blender, like I have it set here. And this is the results of what I fixed last night, and I'll kind of go over it the best that I can. And let's see if I can find start. Now, here is one of my early models. That, by the way, the background, and I'm going to talk about AI. That's one of my AI finds for this model that I just kind of threw in there. And this character, she has very little in terms you go into the shaders into this model. I'll go into the shading thing if it will let me. And you can see that the majority of the things in here, I'm going to shaders, are stuff that I imported from the make this big here so you all can see this. It's when I create these models in LightWave. I bring them. I run this thing. I save the LightWave model for export and FBX mode, and then in order to animate it, I run it, and it gives me it. And when I animate it, I get a free skeleton built for this, and some animations through this tool that Adobe has called Mixamo. And I've been getting a lot of my animations from Mixamo, and this happens to be one of them. At the time, I really wasn't too worried about how I was going to color this model. I just basically, I ran to basically some some basic shaders, and thinking that over time I would get either create stuff through one of the other tools I have, which is called Substance Painter, or dive into procedural shading. That was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And the beauties of Mixamo is that it comes out with an FBX file with a animation already attached, and the result, I'm going to go into layout here, is that I got well, this is based, I'll just go ahead and play this one at it. Is you get this character that animates. And at the time, this was really glitching out. And one of the things I had to do to start off with was readjust the weight shades. And that's a completely different discussion. I won't dive into that, but unless you guys want me to. But when I fixed all the weight shades, this was the result. I disabled a lot of items here, and I just a lot of the bones here from the model itself, I divorced them, but and it just made, just use that as part of the framework. Let me go in here, and where's animation? Let me turn. Yeah. One of the cool things that you can do is basically turn the animation off. But here, that's why they're not open. There's the bones that Mixamo gives you. And I think for what it is, and what it is, it really isn't all that bad. And basically, if you build into the model, like one of the things that I had this, these here are the head bones, and I treated the chest of the character, because you got the shoulders and stuff for the arms. And I think I have somewhere along here, a hat which acted as her head as far as Mixamo is concerned. And then I would just take that hat off. And but as a result, you can take do some animations, quick and of course all this stuff is quick and dirty. And when you do things in the quick and dirty, you're going to run into big problems. Mixamo has a tendency to build things based on, it does its own walking animation in the global space. And when you got to figure with the root bone, I don't know who is calling me at this time. With the root bone in the root bone in the based on actually, the root bone is based on the ground, on its position related to the ground, because it assumes that everything around it is also global. And so everything you see here, all the objects that you see in this image are basically global, because when you drag it out here and start playing it, it starts out, I'll start it from the beginning. It starts out from the center point there, and it walks forward towards it. And there's got to be, and that means that, well, everything in Mixamo is globally based. And I only have to assume that the objects now are also globally based. So there isn't, and later on down the road, I found that, I kind of figured that out. So let's see, I'm going to pause this for a second, and I'm going to go over to another one. I'm going to go back to my my current one here. One of the things that it affects is how it, going back to shaders, how it affects us, how this affects things in shaders. And let me go to a shader. Let me go to, like, character arms is a good one. I'll just grab one, and go into here. And one of the things I'm going to go into body, because I still have some stuff in there that is like, oh, come on. Body color is a good one again, good example. I'll go into the shading editor. And I'll go into here and hit. Since this is my own group, now when I created this shader, I gave it its own group just out of necessity, because you don't want to face this mess all the time. I selected a few parameters here that I want to control externally, and I grouped it into basically its own shader, which you got right here. But one of the big mistakes that I made, and this was actually, I hate to poke at my instructors, but my instructors assumed that anything I was going to attach this to was going to be locally based. It was going to be locally based and not global. And I'll go here and try to find a text hit right here, texture coordinates. I got it attached to an object. So basically, I'm basing on the position of this object to control how this shader paints on this character. And if it's global, when you move, you're going to get problems. It's going to move, it's going to move along because it's thinking it's thinking that this is in part that this thing is stationary. In fact, it's not. I'm moving around due to the animation, and is not and it assumes that this object that I've just shaded is local. Now, what I did to fix it was, and I'll go back to, let's see, go back to another thing. Let's see. Things I got here like round button. I didn't, these are not dependent. So these aren't dependent so much of whether the object is local or not. It appears no matter what. It doesn't shift, unlike a procedural model where like body color, which has all these elements and they're tied to an object. The object goes through mapping. The mapping generates mapping assumes the scale and position, which in this case is in this case is location, and it's using this as as its position, the general location of this, and compared to the whole scene. Let me bring on one of the examples that I have that I repaired. And I will make some switches, and I know I won't be able to see because it also affects scale, but I think let's see, let's go round button. Okay, back case. Here's an example here in that case. In order to solve the problem, instead of being dependent on objects like I had with the others, and I'll try to rotate this around so you can see this characters. I'm going to talk about, this is the battery case. And you can see that I have some of this procedural kind of scratches and stuff through here for the things, and they're kind of randomly placed. I'll pull a trick and I'll put into object, which is what they told me to use before, and you can see all that stuff has disappeared.
Right, because that's your texturing node for generating it, and this is something we're going to discover in my presentation. We're going to discuss in my presentation afterwards as well. Just how powerful these things are, right?
Yeah. So what I had to do to fix this is something I kind of faced anyway, because you and I discussed before that if I export this to say Unreal or to Unity, I'm going to have to come up with probably come up with UV textures and texture map, pretty much the whole model.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I did. And stop me if I'd say stop me if if you're going to go over this anyway. But what I basically did is I had to go to let's see. I had to go and highlight all of this, and I had to generate this UV texture. And to do this is, fortunately, to create UV maps or effective UV maps in Blender, it's one of the cool things about it. It is not rocket science. Well, I guess it can be rocket science, but it doesn't. You don't have to treat it necessarily like that. When I went over here and I went into the unwrap, I went over and picked to get this. I went over, I picked UV project, and I just took whatever this thing offered me here, and I just hit unwrap. And I won't do this here because everything here is set. But that makes this, that gives me a reference point. So when I go to the shading again and use the UV as a vector point to build all this, to build all this stuff on, I'm doing it through, I'm doing this through the UV and not necessarily the object. And the nice thing about UV is it doesn't care what if it's global or if it's local. It's working off the reference of the body of the model. And some people may scream at it and say, this isn't the way you should be doing it. Some of the instructors I ran into said, oh, you have to use object. You don't want to use UV if you can help it. Well, there again, at some point, when you make this stuff, you're going to have to take all these shaders that you built and UV map them at some point anyway.
And especially for gaming, I think UV is critical, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you and I mentioned a possibility that in Unreal that I could use USD. I haven't quite figured out how to use USD in Blender effectively or how to display it. So when I reach that tier, I'll probably have more to say on the subject than I do right now. But as of last night, and I and thank God it only took me about till 2 a.m. to do this. I created all these quick little shader maps or UV maps, and I attached, all this stuff here is all UV map. Has UV maps attached to it. The gloves, the gloves, the arms. Now I am going to have to be careful, and I will show you why. When I created, let's go over. I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to select the arms and gloves, and I'm going to go over to my UV editor, and it ain't going to show me this today. But when I went over here and I did the gloves, let's see, where is it? How do you get a UV map to appear? Over here. I'm sure it's easy. Well, anyway, I just really started to deal with UV maps within Blender just after years and years of doing it in LightWave.
It's essentially very similar.
Uh-huh. Well, you go over here like I'll point to the face here. This face was actually when I added it when this thing was in LightWave. Ooh, I know why. Maybe this is the way I'm supposed to do it. Anyway, there should be. I can't. My mind is a blank here. I can't remember how to bring up UV stuff in here because I want to show that. Because I only started using this last night. Oops. And I'm not prepared to do a UV presentation class here. So, but as basically what I did is I took each of the elements and I started by going into edit mode. And I probably should have done this. That's why I'm having fun with this, because I'm still in the middle of an animation. That's really weird. And I would select an element. It's going to appear. And I say select similar material. And you can see here, there is my UV shader for the arm, and where I got to do one thing I did last night, and I got to repair this before I let this model go out into the world, is I go select similar material on the hands, and I did the smart the smart tear down of this, and I actually got two hands on this. You back this out, so I got the hand over here and a hand over here, and that shouldn't be the case. What I got to do is isolate that to let's see if I could do this. think it's this. New. Oh, wow. But I got to isolate these two hands somehow. And it's going to be difficult because I've applied the material very foolishly. That makes material, selecting material, I'm selecting both hands. And this is going to be a problem in the case of the hands. It won't be, too evident off the bat, but when you get down to it, if the character brings her arms close to each other and then far apart, it's going to affect the procedural graphic in that respect. Because right now it sees all of this as one object. And that I got to fix.
Good.
And so let's see. And just for the sake of argument, I'm going to go back into layout. And but what would happen before, how I noticed this is I did some animations on, I took some movies of this, and very odd, and I used, at the time, I used the screen capture for this whole scene in Windows. And when I look closely at this material here, all this material would start dancing around, and it's supposed to be static. That's how I discovered this, and was the same for, my rubber here, all this here. This is my rubber procedural shader right here, and the glove is also a procedural shader. This her feet, her legs, her torso, that is also procedural shader rubber, and they're independent of each other. And I could do select and the UV editor, select. Heck, I'm just going to go back to, do I have my thing here? Nope. I have to go here. Let me go here. Let me get back into object mode. I have to go here, here, and reset. There we go. Whenever you mess around with animations and make changes to the model, you always go to the reset position to do it, to start. And let's see, I'm going to select this. I'm going to go over to edit mode, and I'm going to select a polygon. And I'm going to go over and hit select material. This here is the UV shader that I created for the bottom half, and it kind of came out kind of wonky. I would probably be better served if I came in here and you can do this. That's one of the cool things about it is, let's see, where is a good one for a plane? I'll use a cube. Now, this is far easier to deal with, and it will have, it will have some position of, or some effect on how the procedural shader appears in here, but it's probably much better off being this way. And I'll go in here and go. And we'll zoom in here, and overall, the effect is, to me at least, acceptable for this model. But the beauty of it is, like, I will put this in the pose position for that frame, and you can see that this hasn't changed, that hasn't changed, none of this stuff here has changed. It's working on a pose, and particularly this hasn't changed. I'll go over to post here to the rest position here, and you can see that this hasn't changed, this hasn't changed, that hasn't changed. If I did that with the other model if you saw this on the stuff beforehand, and you may have even noticed on this material here that well, it might have changed. If it did, since it's moving around, I didn't see it. And that might be the exception of the rule. I'm almost sure of it, because that was taught in a different lesson altogether. But anyway, that in a nutshell kind of explains the problem I had and how I fixed it. And I'll go into here at least one more session of Blender I have right here, and it's this one here. This is basically what I built this thing around. Is like I took one of the animations I had, and it just happened to be in a nice position for this character, and I posed it, and got lazy and posed it based on this poster, based on this. And all this thing here, is just normal. It's just me manipulating materials. There's no procedural stuff except for this rim around here. And I have a feeling that if I went over to that, in fact, this could be a good opportunity for me to explore this. And if it goofs up, it's no big deal. Okay, I have that selected. I'm going to go here because right here, on this rim right here, I did use a procedural shader. Now I'm going to go over here and go into edit mode for this. And why isn't it not behaving? And I'm going to go into object. I go object, select the object. Go to edit, select edit mode. Selection, none. That was probably it. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to select this. And I'm going to select all the related material.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go to UV. And just for the sake of argument, I'm going to go to Smart UV project and click. And here is my map, my box here, all laid up in the UV mode. And now I'll go down to the graphics, and of course I had the setup for dirty metal, and let's see, I'm going to go into here and go to my dirty metal. Oh, I must be running in cycles. I thought I'd put this over to let's see, marquee, sound, bass. Yeah, okay. I'm okay there, and then go over here and hit to get inside the model. By the way, to get that, and apparently I used this thing before, so right now everything is, because I went over and I guess I used dirty metal someplace else, and this is set to UV into vector, because I thought it was set to object, but it turns out it's not. I'm going to go bring this over, and you can see that it's made a change. It is now, you can see all the dirty bits that appear in this marquee, in the box of this marquee. And I could go back over to here, and I can adjust. I can adjust here. Now, for some reason, scale is set to, let's see, let's do a little playing around here. Oh yeah, you can see that. I got general scale. I'm going to take this, I'm going to set this to 1. And then I'm going to play around with this. I'm going to bring this down. And because what this does is this has a general scale. As you can see, as it's going down, the detail is going up. I'm going to see if I could bring this. But basically, you get the general idea.
Yeah, nice.
So, yeah, sorry, it's kind of turned into a quick lesson on UV shape and UV maps, but that's about all I have. I can answer your questions.
Yes. Any questions out there? It'd be a good time to finish paper. Let me stop that. To go ahead and chat. All right, so we're at a 15-minute break thing now. So I'm gonna bring up the 15-minute timer. Kind of bring that on over and bring my screen on up.
And by the way, I'll probably have something cool next week to present.
Oh, cool! That'll be great. we got an exciting presentation coming up. We're gonna do explosions in Blender.
Oh boy, I like things going boom.
Yeah, me too.
You got to remember that I used to work when I worked over at NavAir, I used to be located. Our building was right next to where they took some of the old C4 stuff, because C4 has a shelf life, of like a few months to a few years.
Okay.
And they would have to take the C4 out to this range, which was next to us, and blow things up. So every once in a while, they would bury a whole bunch of C4 in a hole and hit the switch, push the button as they say in Sonic, push the button.
So yeah,
Galvanize, but and watch the and blow up all this C4. Make it to make it safe.
okay.
And and they would warn us before they would send out a warning as like, like explosion in a minute, explosion in 15 seconds and stuff. And we would see little puffs of smoke. We didn't get to see very much, but sometimes we see, puffs of smoke. Occasionally they would really goof up, burying the C4 properly. And it would break the enclosure and the C4 would break the enclosure and the mushroom clouds from that would be quite thrilling.
That'll be interesting. So we're going to do something very similar to that when we come back from our break.
Yeah.
All right. So and you stick around and stay on board, and we'll
I'll be here.
Back. I'll mute my microphone temporarily and we'll give everybody a little break to come back.
Now, the sad part about it is that this is really interesting stuff that you've been doing and going through the motions for, but I can't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Well, you should have told me that from the very beginning.
I put it on the private chat. I put it on the thing on Discord.
You know what? I can't see the private chat when I'm working. I'm only seeing the chat for the group.
Oh. I put it on the chat for the group.
Oh, hell. I was wondering. I was thinking I should be getting questions by now, and I wasn't getting any questions. So I thought everybody can hear me, and no one in the group said that they couldn't hear me. You're the first one, so maybe it's something that just happened. I'm not sure now. Gosh darn it.
Let's see. I think Bustrix 66 said that he couldn't hear you either.
Well, Buzz, you should have just texted me and said, "Hey, we can't hear you." Next time. That way, then I can check and see what my microphone is doing.
I mean, I probably could have gone online and said, we're sorry, but we cannot listen to this broadcast because they're due to technical problems. And I didn't want to. No,
you got to say.
I appreciate something. I appreciate you doing this stuff, and I didn't want to undignify.
You got to tell me. I mean, I'm constantly looking at the chat. I'm religiously looking at the chat.
Okay.
So if he has typed in there, "Hey, we can't hear you," I would have stopped and then rectified the problem.
Yeah, I was looking at it. Yeah, of course, I'm on SteamYard as well.
Right.
And I can see your you don't see it on the on the chat on Twitch, but over there on the chat in StreamYard, I can see your icon, and next to it was the unmute, was the mute symbol.
Okay.
And I even tried to put my mute symbol on and off, hoping that you would notice.
Yeah, no, I can't. I'm working.
Yeah, I didn't know anything else to do other than to, I didn't want to undignify your broadcast.
No, it's now that was undignified when you couldn't hear me. Jeez.
It's good. I mean, the stuff you're doing is very interesting.
All right. So should I let's see, where you probably couldn't hear me from the beginning, huh?
No, it just started around lunchtime. After lunchtime.
After lunchtime?
Yeah.
Yeah, crap. Should I start over again? What time is it? I can start over again.
I don't know. It's up to you.
What do you guys, broadcast. We'll ask everybody online. Should I start over again online? Everybody on Twitch there. Just give me a nay or yay.
You used to be able to put it to a vote.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
That's how Pumpkin Potion does it on her V stuff. I listen to her all the time because it's, she's very nice. She appears as this 1930s cartoon. That's her great persona.
So
in fact, the face in my graphic, that's her face.
So Curtis, Nightwolf Prime, Parsons, everybody else who's there. Want to start this over again from the beginning? Talk to me.
Hello.
Hello there. Talk to me. I'm starting to feel like this, like my students. They're there, but they're not there.
That's sad, but yeah.
All right. Let's see. Enjoying, but I can't hear. Okay, so it's still the same. Oh, no one's responding. All right. I will. I tell you what.
Just keep going.
I'll just keep going. I'll keep going. All right, audio now. Yes, thank you, Buster. Have you been? I see your. Here we go. Poster chest. Yep, audio is there now. No one told me, Buster, that no one could hear me. No one put in the chat box saying you muted. Or you left for a bit, so that's what happened.
Oh. They voted with their feet.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I tell you what I'm going to do. We'll make this a little bit longer broadcast today. I'll start from the beginning. I'll start from where I started off for lunch, and that way you guys can see the whole thing properly. So I apologize.
Just when you go to your YouTube and put this on your YouTube, you may want to edit that part out.
I'll save this one and we'll start fresh. Go to general, and we'll get rocking and rolling. So next
it's an interesting subject. It looked cool.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff, and it's a lot of practical applications for this. I mean, real CG applications for this stuff. So let's explore that. All right, so we're gonna go from the beginning. So first of all, what I'm gonna do is I want to lay down a plane. So Shift A, and we're gonna go to a plane there. Shift A again, and I'm gonna put in an icosphere. Now the reason why I'm using an icosphere, because I'm going to alter this into a particle emitter, and I want the particle emitting in irregular shapes all around my sphere. So instead of using a UV sphere, the icosphere has a little bit more of a shape that's going to emit particles in a 360-degree direction. Let's make the ground a little larger. Let's select that ground. Hit the S key, make it much larger. Okay. And I'm just going to pull back and see it in relationship. I think that'll be fine for the ground. All right, now I'm going to take the sphere, hit the G key, and then the Z key, pull it up just a little bit. Tab key, edit mode. I'm going to hit the 3 key for face editing mode. Period key to get them in close. 1 key, orthographic view, Alt Z. is X-ray view to select the bottom. So the bottom is the only thing that's going to be selected. Hit the X key and say delete the faces for a reason. Okay. Now, if I want to probably add a little more, geometry to this. So select all, right click, subdivide there. Okay, that works. All right, we'll go back to object mode here. Okay, and then Alt Z, go back to here. Grab your bottom plane, and we're going to add some dynamics to this. So we'll come right over here to the right hand side. We go to our physics tab, and we're going to say make that a collision. Not a cloth. I want a collision. I accidentally hit the cloth. I want just a collision. So with collision applied, come down to the bottom. The dampening, I don't want the particles bouncing, so I'm going to give this like 0.5. And then the friction, I'll probably give it something like a 0.4. And I'm making these numbers up. Okay, so there's no rhyme or reason to them. They're just there to explore what they're going to do in the beginning, and then I can modify them later. All right, let's select the smoke emitter, getting close, and of course I said smoke emitter, but there's no emission applied to this just yet. All right, now we're going to turn this into an emitter. We can turn anything in Blender. Literally anything in the Blender. All you have to do is select that object, and then come on the right-hand side, the vertical right menu, hit the particle symbol there, and then hit the plus, and now it's an emitter. Boom. So that when I hit the space bar to play it, see it's hitting the ground, and I'm thinking I'm liking the way it's reacting off the ground. I don't want it bouncing a whole lot, just to kind of sit there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So just about like that. So now what I want to do is give it more particles. So I'm going to give it about, let's say, 7,000.
Boom.
I think I'm also going to go into my layout view, and I'm going to set this to like 50. Because time is money, right? I want to save money. I want to produce a short 5-second burst of blast, right? A blast burst. View menu, and go to my view menu, frame the scene range to 0 to 50. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to select the actual object, come over here to my particle emitter, and I want the lifetime. I want this whole thing to start at frame 10. Okay. And I want it to end at frame 15, the actual blast. Boom.
Roger that. Yeah.
All right. So frame 10, end at frame 15. The lifetime is only going to be 5 frames. All right. So hit 5, and then boom. There we go. Boom. There's my blast. Blast, go away. Blast, go away. But the blast isn't really happening the way that I want it. I want this to come out like a mushroom cloud.
Roger that.
So we're going to go over to the velocity. And we're going to take the velocity. Let's try 0.5. Oh, maybe not. We go to 7. There we go. That's better. That's better. Now I'm gonna go to the Z alignment because I wanted to go up, and we're gonna go say like 3. There we go. Now it's moving up a little bit on the Z axis. So if we take a look at this real quick, and I'm getting close. I've got these linear shapes, right? If you look at the lines on this thing, you got these linear shapes.
Okay.
I don't want that. That's boring. So I'm gonna let it play. And we'll go to our velocity and we're gonna randomize it. I'm gonna go beyond 2. Keep going beyond 2 like that. There we go. There we go. So it's more like an explosion. Okay. I got normals at 7. So the normals is the normal direction is the velocity is being blasted out. And I also affected the z-axis.
Mm-hmm.
Randomization has been applied.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's pretty much what I want to kind of focus on for this one object. Okay. All right, now check this out. It's better with the randomization applied, but it's still a little bit too uniform.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go put this back to frame 0, go to the object. We're going to apply a modifier, deform, and displace. Okay, we're going to displace this. We're going to give this a much more let's see, there we go, a much more irregular surface here. So I want to go to the textured object right down here, the texture option.
Yes.
Click on a new texture, add in clouds procedural, and there we go.
Cool.
All right. So, and remember, this is similar to what we did last week with the what did we do last week? We did I forget what we did last week. So if I go to the size,
I did procedural shaders last week, so
right. So I'm messing with the procedural shaders, and I want this to be irregular shapes. Probably something like that, so that when I do the particle, it's going to come out as irregular shapes.
Right. So it's going to take on the nature of the base object.
Right.
That's understandable.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So it's got a blast. Okay. Now here's where the fun begins. Now, last week we were doing clouds, right?
Yeah, that was it.
Right. We're doing clouds. So we're going to use what we've learned about the clouds and apply it to this as well. But we're going to apply what we've learned about. Now, with the clouds, we created an object, right? And then we use displacement on the object to kind of give it an abstraction, a feel to it, a cloudy abstraction, and then we applied the volumes to the actual object. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to apply it to the particles. So with the particle selected, I'm going to stop it. Let me just kind of stop it here. And with that particle selected, we're going to go to our object menu, quick effects, quick smoke. There it is. Boom.
Yeah, there's your mushroom cloud.
So I'm gonna turn off. I'm gonna rename the icosphere smoke, right? Smoke 1. Okay, so there's kind of the mushroom cloud. It's not exactly what I want for this mushroom cloud. We'll explore that later. I'm going to save this. I'm going to call it Explosions Twitch number 3. There we go. And I'm going to come over here and hit the eyeball on the smoke one object so that the globes go away, but it leaves the smoke.
Right.
All right. So now I'm going to select the smoke. I'm gonna tell the plane to kind of lock it down so I don't accidentally select it. And I'm gonna select the smoke. Come down to my physics tab. And for my settings, I've got just smoke. But if I drop it down, I can have smoke and fire.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Smoke
cool.
We're not done yet. Now, smoke is treating it. It's treating it for under the settings here. It's treating it like an object, right? In other words, it's seeing all the particles, and it's treating it as if those particles is one big object, like a big mushroom.
Yeah.
And so the fire is coming off of it. So if I instead tell Blender under the settings, I'm going to look for the flow source right there. Tell it not to treat it as a mesh, which is showing right there under flow source. Treat it as a particle system. Select it. Now, with the particle system selected, it looks like it's gone away. But if we need to tell it what the name of that particle system is, and if we drop it down, it's going to show it right here. Because you could have more than one particle system in Blender at one time.
Yeah.
And go particle system. Boom. See? Boom.
Great.
Okay. So now what it's doing is it's using every single particle as an explosion. It's an independent explosion. Isn't that cool?
It is.
All right. It gets better. All right. So there we go. We got.
I might give my character some magic blue smoke.
That's right. So I want to modify the domain size a little bit. So let me stop it right about there. Select the domain, tab key, go to edit mode. I want to make it larger along the X and the Y axis. So S for scale, Shift Z to tell it not to use the X axis, Z axis, and make it larger this way.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll just go grab the top. Hit the G key and then the Z key for the axis restricted to and bring it up that high.
Yeah.
That should do it.
You did it that way, so you had more control over the cube,
the spacing,
the displacement cube.
Yeah, the spacing around my explosion, because I want to keep the natural mushroom cloud of the explosion. I don't want it hitting the sides of the cube, becoming a cube shape.
Right.
All right. So and now I'll go back to object. And we'll just play it again and see how it looks. Boom. See?
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Okay. If I come down to here, getting close. Bang. Bang. Okay. So what's probably going on here is the resolution isn't low enough.
Right.
It's 32. We're going to go to 64 or 128. Let's see if we can get away with that there. All right. And if I play it, let's see what happens. Boom. Yeah. Bang. Okay. Let's go to 256. Yes.
Okay.
Much better. Boom, boom. Yeah. Okay. Okay, it'll get better.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna stop it right about there. Okay. So I want to do another one of these, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to have it explode right after this one finishes exploding.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do so simply just by duplicating this explosion.
Okay. Makes sense.
So select it. So I'm going to come over here to the smoke domain, or the smuts domain, but just the smoke emitter, right? Because we call it smoke one.
Uh-huh.
Here, let me just turn it on so it's easier to see. We gotta play it a little bit so we can all see. There it is. Okay, play it again. Right there. Okay. Those are the actual emitters. Okay, so smoke one. So Shift D and reset it back. Now, let me turn off the physics engine just temporarily. If I come up here to, let's see, I should be able to do it from maybe I can do it from here. It's not showing up that way. I'm thinking, okay, we'll leave it the way it is. I'm going to, with the smoke one, I'm going to double click it, call it smoke two. And what I'm going to do is if you come down to the physics engine, let's see, I'm going to come over here to the particle emitter, go to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice there's a number 2 next to it.
Yes. And you got two instances of it.
That's right. And I want no instance. I want this to be a completely separate instance.
Yeah.
So we click the number 2, and that does it right there. So that if I make modifications to this one, the other one's not going to be affected.
Right.
So I did that with the particle system. I have to do the same thing with the texturing system, the materials. Open up the materials. Let's see. Right back. The materials. Oops, hold on a minute. Let me go to here. That one's done. Okay, actually the materials should be fine. I want to go right here to the textures, not the materials.
Right.
Okay, I want to go to the textures, not the material. And you'll see there's a 2
Mm-hmm.
next to that. So it's being instant. So I don't want it instant. Click the 2. Now it's set as its own object, own texture object.
Right.
So what I can do now is this. Let me see if I scroll this to here. Go to number 2 and go to my texture, which is manipulating the displacement of the object. See?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a different shape.
Right.
And maybe this one, I'll go to my rotation. Maybe I'll give it a slight rotation like this. Hit the S for scale slightly, make it a little bit bigger, maybe. And I'll peel it a little bit. Yeah, that should work. My coffee maker just stopped working for some strange reason.
Drag.
I know. All right, so with this one selected, we're going to come back over to the particle emitter. Now, it's matching the other in terms of what the original settings were. So maybe on this one, I'll give it like 8,000 instead of 7,000 like the other.
Mm-hmm.
Starting in the frame session, maybe we'll go instead of at 10 to 15, we'll go to something like 15 to 20 just to start frame. 50, in frame 20.
Okay.
All right, that should work.
Yeah.
Lifetime is only going to be 5 frames, and I gave it 8,000 instead of 7,000 particles. The source should be the same. That's the source, but I think that'll work. Kind of looking over those there. So, all right, let me
Whoa.
Here we go. Boom. All right.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. All right. So bang, bang. So maybe I'll pull it a little further apart. Well, let's see. Let me pull it back a little bit. See what it looks like. See, I was able to do that tutorial all over again pretty quickly. All right, I want to check something out. Let me go over to my domain. I think that is looking pretty good. 256. All right. So that looks pretty good.
Okay.
And okay, so I guess the only other thing we probably should have in here is like a little bit more smoke.
Okay.
And I will. We got. Actually, what I should do is instead of calling it smoke 1 and smoke 2, I want to call it fire 1.
And fire 2.
Yeah, fire 1 and fire 2. Let's see, fire 1 and fire 2. All right, I'm going to save it. Hit the Control S, and I'm going to add another plane in here. So Shift S, cursor to select it right about there. Shift A, mesh. We're going to go to a circle. Pull that circle on up right about there. Go to Edit mode, and I want to hit the F key to put a face in there. All right, now I want to do is let me see if I can go right up here to my overlay view. Go to face orientation. And you'll notice that in blue is the normal's direction, the proper normal's direction. I don't want this going upwards. So the blue area is where the particles is going to be emitting from.
Okay.
The opposite side, which is red, it will not emit from that section. What I want to do is with this one is with that selected, I want to come over to the mesh, go to normals, and flip it. Because I want the smoke pushing downward and out.
Okay.
All right, so I want the smoke going in the opposite direction.
Okay.
All right, so now let's go back to object mode, and we need to go back to our physics tab and give this a fluid dynamics, and tell it to be the flow, right? And you want it to be smoke, not smoke and fire, just smoke.
Okay.
All right, and that's what we're going to do for now. Let me get out of this visual mode for the face orientation there. And if I play this, okay, so now with the smoke, which is that new plane, right? It's that circle right about there.
Yeah.
Double click that one. We're going to call it smoke.
Okay.
And we're probably going to need some velocity in here. So let's go over. It's a mesh. I'm going to keep it as a mesh. And here's my initial velocity, I'm thinking. I want it on the normals, right? Go to the normals. Probably take that out to 3. Let's see what that does.
Looks like it's doing something.
Yeah, it's doing something, but it's the I wanted to start at a later frame, right?
Yeah. Did you set the limits for it yet for time
Not
wise?
yet, not yet. If I go back up here to the particles, is it the particles tab? Oh, it's not a particle. It's just adding the smoke. So I guess that's gonna have to be a particle now. Just thinking about it. Yeah, it's gonna have to be a particle, unfortunately. Go over here, make it a particle setting,
Mm-hmm.
and now the particles are coming down. See?
Yeah.
All right. So I want to go over to my settings. And my settings. I want to make sure I've got this correct. Was oh sorry, it was under the physics, under the settings. The flow source is not mesh, but particle, and select the particle options. All right, so let me see if I go to a particle and give it a little more velocity. So initial velocity, let's give it instead of 1, let's push this on up to something like 8. See what it does. And I may have to randomize that initial velocity. Let's see what else I've got in here in terms of velocity. Velocity is your speed, how quickly it kind of pushes things out. Flow source size. Let me see if I can increase the size any larger. Yeah, it's coming out a little bit too much. All right, I'm gonna take this back down. I'm gonna take it down to 2. Um, I wonder if that smoke is sticking too much. So if I go to the smoke itself, and I may have to come down here to the base.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to unlock it. I locked it earlier, so go down to the plane, and probably turn down the dampening a little bit. So maybe I go to 3. 0.3 is what I meant. So dampening 0.3. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on this one. Let me test something out here. So I want to move on to something else. Let me come back to this. I want to go. There's your smoke. Turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
That's my smoke. I'm going to turn that off and lock it for now.
Right.
Okay. Um, I'm also going to turn off the particles for fire 1 and fire 2, so all we can see is the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still seeing the smoke coming down here. Let me select this smoke plane. And let's see if I can stop that real quick. So if I come over here to the particles and turn it off temporarily, see what it looks like. There it is. Okay. So I'm just looking at the initial particles. So I'm gonna modify this visually with the texture. And
Okay.
I'm gonna start with the fire 1. I'm going to start with the fire 1. I'm going to kind of get a little close here. I'm going to come back, stop this here. We'll take it to right about there. Okay.
Okay.
Go over here, go over to my shader editor. Hit the N key to make that go away. And the shader editor, it should show that up somewhere if we the shader editor is not going to be for the actual object. The shader editor is going to be for the domain. There, it's already there.
Yep.
Okay, so it's already done. When we added that quick effects in there, it already textured the domain properly, called volume. Now we're going to retexture this here to make it look a little bit more exciting.
Okay.
In order to do so, I got to go to render mode. And I'm going to come over here to Psycho, CPU. I want GPU compute. I cannot see my fire because under my principal volume, I need to up my black body intensity, bring it on up like this, there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so let's see if any questions are in here. Nope, no questions. Okay, this is good. We're almost there. It's kind of fun. I lost my Twitch chat box. Let me go get that back real quick. www.twitch. Somehow it got shut down. And then we are back. Okay, cool. All right. Oh, no. Yeah, everybody's still there. All right, so we're going to make some modifications to this. So what we're doing is we're texturing the domain itself. And I think one of the first things I want to do is go to my search. And this is going to be a volume. Oh, what is it called? Volume info. That's it. Okay. I don't want to check one other little thing out. So it's going to be, let's get this out of the way here. All right. So for my volume info, I also want to add a color ramp because I want to control the colors in this thing.
Yeah.
So Shift A, and we're going to go over here to color ramp, which is right there.
Yeah.
Because I want to tell it what colors to use, how to use them. And then I want a math node. So Shift A, search. There's a math right there. And I want that math node to be in multiply blend mode, because what that does is it turns it on. It makes it like an intensity switch. Make it really hot, make it really, really not so hot. I'm gonna go to my density, and I'm gonna connect it into the factor. Okay. And then I'm going to take the color and connect it into the value of this one. And then this one, I believe, is going to go right into the emission strength. Like that. See?
Okay.
And I can control that with this. So with this value here, intense or less intense, right? Or utilize these here.
So to give it a little higher contrast?
Yeah, more higher contrast or intensity. So I'm going to do one more where I'm going to duplicate this color range, Shift D. Also take the density, also connect it to the factor here.
Yes.
And this is going to go straight into the black body intense. It's not the emission color, the emission color. Color to the emission color. So now, see, I've got my black. Maybe I want the brighter areas in here. All right. To be, second. sure my volume is selected correctly. Okay, I want the brighter areas in here to be yellowish.
Okay.
So select the whites and then come down here, select that color, click on it. See? You can see the colors changing as I move around.
Yeah, you can make blue smoke.
That's right.
Low
So
intensity.
we can go even more. We can go like, I want some deeper orange in there, right? So select another one and then make that like a nice little orange, like so. You see that?
Yes.
And I can move that closer to the whites and then make it even deeper orange in here, right? So there, here, grab that orange color and bring down the intensity even more. Okay, we can play with this. All right, so let's play with this around here. Let's go ahead and play. All right, missing a little bit of my smoke. Because I did turn it off a little bit already, so.
Yeah, you did.
And I really want a lot more randomization in here as well. So if I go, we've got you see the fire 1 and the fire 2 here. I'm going to select those two along with the smoke. I'm going to put them into their own group. So hit the M for the man, and we're going to call this one Fire Group 1. There we go. So that whole group right there, if I turn it off and on, that's not gonna, there we go. That's my group. Let's go turn it on. Okay, that's it there. There's my plane, the smoke domain. That's the actual generator of this stuff. So yeah, we get a little bit. I want to get a lot more smoke. And let me go to the smoke and turn it on. So smoke group here, select the smoke. And if I remember correctly, I want to turn this off here. So let me go to the particles and turn it back on. Huh. Okay. Let's see. Number of particles. Let's go 8,000. Let's try this. Let's go to my my domain. And let's go to select all. And I'm going to stop the playing here. Bake all. And I'm going to come back up here, go to layout view. It's thinking because my system's frozen up.
Uh-oh.
It's thinking.
Oops.
This
has happened to me. Believe it or not, this has happened to me when I've had to deal with stuff with cycles.
Oh yeah, it'll do. Okay, so there we go. It should work now. So I'm going to go back over here to layout view. Oh, it's still not doing it. Okay, there we go. There's layout. That's it.
I guess you're in.
come back over to my timeline. There it is. Okay, so got a little bit of smoke. I'm going to have to play around with the smoke so I can get that puff to come up. It's not exactly doing what I wanted to do. But I'll finish it up. I'll have something back to share with you next week.
Okay.
And then we'll do the AI plugins for Blender next week.
Great. I like to see that.
Yeah. So I think everybody's going to want to see this. See that. Okay, so I should have like the smoke coming up. Trying to figure out why. My initial sneaky suspicion is not enough velocity. So if I go to the actual smoke, let me find my velocity flow source.
Velocity. Initial velocity is right there.
That's the initial velocity. But I thought there was another version, so maybe let's do this. Let's take this up to like 30.
Okay.
Let's go to 100.
Okay.
It's sitting down there. Why is it sitting down there? It shouldn't. This initial velocity. Flow source. Let's see. I've got geometry. Flow behavior geometry. That's the problem.
Okay.
I want inflow. I think. Got to figure this one out. Always vertex groups. I don't want that. Particle system. To get out of particle system and go to mesh. See what that does. Just let the smoke flow there. Surface emission and volume emission. All right, surface emission. Let me see what this does. That's really odd. Let me take a look at the previous one I did. I want to just do a comparison. I'm gonna save it. Open up the one that I did before.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Let's take a look at it. Let's see what I've got here. It's caching a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go. Explosion comes up. Smoke up and away. The second explosion. All right, then with the smoke. So if I come over to, see where's my smoke here. I'm kind of getting close. Let me stop playing this. Smoke's playing. There's the smoke right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a particle system. Yeah, it's all particles. Then if I come over here to I'll play with this one here. I got a small amount of particles. So if I come and tell it to be 9,000.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a lot. Oh, I know what happened here. I forgot to disconnect this from the rest of them. 5,000. That's 8,000. Oh, that really started going crazy. All right, what happened to, there we go. Go to my smoke there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go over here and check my particle system right there. Emission. Put in 5. And let's see what it does. Let's play it. Let's see what it does from the beginning out of curiosity. So after experimenting and playing around, you can put this on any object. I can make a ball if I wanted to just explode from a circular shape.
Yeah.
Thing. Okay, that's a little bit better. All right, so for the smoke, what I have to do is this. I'm going to come over to the textures. Let's see what's going on there. There's no textures. There's no particle system that I can see where it's sharing the same instance. And if I go down to the particle system, it's a flow settings. Let's see what it looks like. It's smoke only. It's got geometry as the shape. Let me see what it looks like just for the inflow.
Okay.
So settings. So I want to see just what the inflow looks like. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we go again. A little bit of something, yeah. You got a little bit of something there.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. All right, so I'll tidy this up and share with everybody next week.
Okay.
All right. Well, hopefully this was helpful. Sorry for the mic going out there. And
Yeah.
next time, shout at me. Tell me you can't hear me. No.
I did what I thought was, politely. I'm such a polite person sometimes, and I just don't get out, and so I try to talk to you from what few angles I had. I only had one other question, and it just kind of goes to the developer side of me. I'm when I investigate this the stuff on Blender, I'm also looking at it from perspective of a programmer.
Right.
One of the issues I tend to run into in the shader in the setting up the shaders.
Yeah.
If there's there's no place for me to do any sort of notation or
there is a notation node.
There is a notation node.
There is a notation. I'm pretty sure.
I
gotta look that up because I don't use that often.
Yeah, because one of the things I run into is when I when I listen to an instruction, online, is I like to take notes and of all the work, and I usually like to reference a video or something that I learned this from.
Okay.
And what I had to do, temporarily, is to put things in the title of an empty framework, and so I have reference.
Okay.
And I'd like to build a sort of a database, so to speak, sort of this thing that I can go in and add all these notes. And when you create a group in the shader, when you create your own shader group, one of the things I like to build, and this is where I like it to live, I'd also like it to reference all the all the points, all the nodes that I'm selecting to go public
Right.
in the group, and track those and explain what they do, and quite possibly keep a light database that I can use it to record all the settings that I have that for, and why I made those settings in there is maybe a side note. And I'm pretty sure there's nothing out there that will do anything like that, or if there is, I haven't found it yet. And trust me, I've scoured the Blender manual for something. So I am thinking it's possibly somebody made a plugin, because I'm I'm an organizational person. I like to organize, have my ducks in a row, so to speak.
Okay.
And I create this stuff. It keeps my head straight.
All right.
Because if I don't, I
go crazy.
I'll go crazy. Well, I have I have attention deficit syndrome, so I'm probably even in the spectrum for all I know. And I need these tools in order to keep my head straight. So when I go over there and have a problem, I can refer to the notes to do that. And doesn't necessarily need. And right now, I have to write everything down in paper notes, and that's a kind of a frustration. But if I have something internal in that group that I can refer to those notes.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe it would be something that only I would use, or maybe some other people would be interested in, and I can contribute that to the community, or put it up on sale on Gumroad or something like that. It's for a low cost, or maybe even give people an excuse to contribute to my Patreon.
Okay. Absolutely. All right. I'll put that as a note to kind of look into that.
I know I'm going to be looking into that next week, because that, and plus I'm going to start figuring out how to create the UV graphics in order to export this model into a game engine. That's my goal for next week.
And I'm going to put down as a note for me, AI for Blender.
Mm-hmm. That I like to learn a lot. I like to learn about, because right now I'm working with Unreal in their AI system, which is called learning agents, which is basically Epic has primarily made this with the interest of creating a AI logic for opposition forces in a game.
Okay.
And they created a very nice beta. I think it was in beta test when I first saw it over at Unreal Fest in Seattle, and I've already gone through the lesson plan for it. They have basically a car that a lesson where you teach this car how to drive down this path, and and I'm of course trying to expand upon that as far as what more I can learn about it. And there's a lot of machine learning involved into it, which is not a typical topic for a game programmer, but it is an interesting topic nonetheless. And me, I'll poke my head into anything, so to try to learn it. That's my accomplishment in my life, is that I can learn all is knowable.
I hear you. So, all right, let me run. And thank you very much. You are wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for being here, for the support. And we'll be back next Saturday.
You take care.
All right, you too. Bye, everybody.